Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're starting something special, a deep dive into one of the most talked about startup and innovation books ever written. And I'm joined by the author himself. Peter, welcome.
Thanks, James. Glad to be here.
Let's start simple. The title itself sounds mysterious. 0 to 1. Why 0? Why 1? Why not 1 to 100 or 1 to a million?
Good question, because going from 1 to 100 is just copying something that already exists and scaling it. But going from 0 to 1 means creating something entirely new, something the world has never seen before. That single step from nothing to something is where real progress happens.
So you're saying progress isn't about improving things, it's about inventing things.
Not exactly. Improvement matters, but there are two kinds of progress. One is horizontal progress, copying, expanding, replicating. The other is vertical progress, doing something fundamentally new. Horizontal progress is globalization. Vertical progress is technology. Give me a real-world example. If a restaurant chain opens 1,000 identical branches around the world, that's horizontal progress. But if someone invents a new way of producing food that never existed before, that's vertical progress. One spreads, the other transforms.
So vertical progress is basically innovation.
Yes, but deep innovation, not small upgrades. Most people think progress is automatic, that the future will just happen. But the future is built by people who create things that don't exist yet.
Let me challenge that. Today, everything feels invented already. Smartphones, AI, global internet. Are there really still 0 to 1 opportunities left?
More than ever. People only think innovation is finished because they compare today to science fiction fantasies. Flying cars, teleportation, those didn't happen, so they assume progress slowed. But look carefully. Real transformation often happens quietly.
So innovation isn't always dramatic.
Exactly. Some of the most powerful changes are in visible infrastructure, software systems, algorithms, financial technologies. Take PayPal. It didn't look like science fiction, but it changed how money moves globally. That's vertical progress.
You also talk a lot about the mindset of founders, that building a startup is not just business, it's philosophy.
Because building something new requires believing the future can be different from the present. Most people don't believe that. They think the future will look mostly like today, just slightly better. Entrepreneurs think the future can be fundamentally different and I can help create it. That belief changes everything.
But isn't competition the heart of capitalism? Everyone fighting to win? That creates progress, right?
That's one of the biggest misunderstandings in modern business. Competition is not a sign of success. It's a sign that nobody is truly different. If many companies sell identical things, they compete on price, marketing, small improvements, but nobody creates something truly new. The goal of a great business is not to compete. The goal is to become unique.
Wait, are you saying monopoly is good?
Creative monopoly, yes. Not abusive monopoly, but a company that creates something so new and valuable that no one else can replace it. That's where innovation comes from. Look at Google and search, or Facebook and social networking. They didn't win by copying others. They built something different enough to dominate.
But society teaches us competition is healthy. From school to sports, we're trained to compete.
And that mindset often traps people. Competition makes you focus on rivals instead of value creation. When founders obsess over competitors, they stop thinking originally. They imitate instead of invent. True innovators escape competition entirely.
So the real question isn't how do I beat others, it's how do I be different enough that others don't matter?
Exactly.
Let's talk geography. Many people believe innovation only happens in one place, Silicon Valley. Is that myth or reality?
It's partly true, partly psychological. Innovation clusters where people believe the future can be built. That shared belief creates momentum. But the deeper truth is this: innovation happens wherever people discover secrets.
Secrets? That sounds mysterious.
Every great business is built on a secret, an important truth that most people don't see yet. If something is obvious to everyone, it's already crowded. Real opportunity hides in what others overlook. Give an example of a secret. a hidden market need, an overlooked technology, a different way of solving an old problem. Most people assume the world is fully understood. Entrepreneurs assume the opposite, that important truths are still undiscovered.
So starting a company is basically asking, what valuable truth does nobody else believe yet?
Yes, that's one of the most important questions in the entire book.
Let me try answering it badly, just to test the idea. What if my secret is, people like convenience, so I'll build another food delivery app?
That's not a secret. That's obvious and already crowded. A real secret must feel uncomfortable, unpopular, non-consensus. If everyone agrees, it's not a secret.
That sounds risky.
Innovation always is, but copying the crowd is riskier long-term because you'll never stand out.
So part one of this journey really comes down to three big ideas. Create, don't copy, escape competition, don't worship it, and find secrets, don't assume everything is known. Is that a fair summary?
Very fair. And one more thing. The future is not something that happens to us, it's something we build.
That's powerful. Before we close part one, I want to ask something personal. Do you think most people are capable of building from 0 to 1, or is that only rare geniuses?
It's not about genius, it's about perspective. Most people are trained to follow existing paths. A few people question the path itself. The moment you start questioning, you begin moving from 0 to 1.
That feels like the perfect place to pause. In the next part, we'll go deeper, how startups actually build these breakthroughs, and why planning the future is harder than predicting it. Peter, thank you.
Looking forward to part 2.
Welcome back, everyone. In part 1, we talked about creating something new, going from 0 to 1, and why innovation matters more than competition. Now I want to get practical. How do startups actually build the future? Where does it begin?
It begins with one fundamental question. Do you believe the future can be planned, or do you think it just happens? That belief shapes everything.
Most people would probably say the future is unpredictable. You just adapt as things change.
That mindset is what I call indefinite thinking. People believe the future will be better, but they don't know how or why. So they drift, react, adjust, and hope things work out. But great founders think differently. They practice definite optimism.
Definite optimism, meaning they believe the future will be better and they have a clear plan to make it better.
Exactly. They don't wait for opportunity, they design it. Most modern education teaches flexibility, adaptation, and risk spreading, but building something new requires focus, conviction, and direction.
That sounds almost risky, committing to one clear vision.
It is risky, but progress requires commitment. If you try to keep every option open, you rarely build anything meaningful. A startup succeeds when it chooses a specific future and works relentlessly to make that future real.
So startups aren't just small companies.
No, that's a common misunderstanding. A startup is a group of people trying to build something new under conditions of extreme uncertainty. It's not defined by size, it's defined by mission. A small business that copies an existing model isn't a startup. A team inventing a new category is.
So innovation is the defining feature.
Yes, but also speed and focus. Startups move fast because they're small, and they must stay small long enough to discover what works.
That's interesting, because people usually think growth is the main goal.
Growth matters, but timing matters more. If you scale before finding a real breakthrough, you just expand inefficiency. First, create something that truly works. Then, grow.
Let's talk about teams. Many people imagine lone geniuses building world-changing companies. Is that realistic?
Rarely. Great companies are built by small, tightly aligned teams, not large groups, not loose collaborations. In the early stage, every person must believe deeply in the mission. Skills matter, but shared vision matters more.
So hiring is not just about talent, it's about alignment.
Exactly. Early employees aren't just workers, they are co-creators of the future you're building. If they don't fully believe in it, the company loses direction. That's why strong startup cultures often feel intense, almost like a small tribe with a shared purpose.
Let's talk money. Many people think startups succeed because of funding, venture capital, investors, big backing. Is money the main driver?
Money is fuel, not direction. Capital helps growth, but it doesn't create innovation. Investors don't build companies, founders do. But there is an important idea most people misunderstand: the power law. Explain that. In venture investing, and actually in many areas of life, a small number of outcomes create the majority of value. One startup might be worth more than dozens combined. For example, a company like Tesla didn't just become another car manufacturer, it reshaped an entire industry. Or think of PayPal. It didn't just process payments, it changed global digital commerce. A few breakthrough companies define entire eras. So investors look for huge success, not many small wins. Exactly, and founders should think the same way. Don't build a company hoping to be slightly better than others. Build one that can dominate a unique space.
There's something surprising in your ideas. You talk a lot about engineering and innovation, but also about sales. Many technical founders think good products sell themselves.
That's one of the most dangerous myths in business. Even the best product fails if nobody understands its value. Distribution, how you reach people, is just as important as creation.
So selling is not manipulation, it's communication.
Yes, every company needs a way to explain why it exists and why it matters. Technology without distribution stays invisible. Distribution without value is empty. You need both.
Let me challenge something again. Some people say the world is too complex to plan long-term. Markets change, technology shifts, unexpected events happen. Is detailed planning realistic?
Planning doesn't mean predicting every detail. It means choosing direction instead of drifting. Without a plan, you're controlled by randomness. With a plan, you shape probability.
That's a powerful distinction. So part 2 really teaches that building the future requires structure, not just ideas.
Yes, vision without execution is fantasy. Execution without vision is chaos. Startups succeed when both meet.
Before we close this part, what is the biggest mistake founders make at the beginning?
They try to be everything to everyone. The best startups begin with a small, specific market and dominate it completely. Start narrow, win deeply, expand later.
That almost sounds counterintuitive. People want big markets immediately.
Big visions often begin with small monopolies. Control one niche fully, then grow outward.
So if part 1 was about thinking differently, part 2 is about building deliberately. Plan the future, choose the right team, focus deeply, control a small market first, and never ignore distribution.
That's a strong summary.
In part 3, we'll explore something even more fascinating: secrets, technology trends, and how to recognize opportunities others completely miss. Peter, ready for that?
Absolutely.
Welcome back. In part 1, we explored creating something new. In part 2, we talked about building startups with clear vision and structure. Now we're getting into something that really caught my attention when reading your book: secrets. You say every great company is built on a secret. That sounds almost mysterious. What do you really mean by that?
A secret is simply an important truth that most people don't see or don't believe yet. If something is obvious, many people will already be working on it. But if a truth is hidden, overlooked, or misunderstood, that's where opportunity lives.
So opportunity is basically hidden knowledge?
Often, yes. Not hidden like a conspiracy, hidden because people assume there's nothing left to discover. Modern society tends to believe the world is fully mapped, fully understood, that all the big discoveries have already been made. But that belief is wrong.
Why do people think that?
Because discovering something new is difficult. It's uncomfortable. It challenges what everyone assumes is true. So it feels easier to believe the world is already explained and just focus on small improvements.
So real innovators don't accept that assumption.
Exactly. They ask a simple but powerful question: what important truth do very few people agree with me on? That question forces original thinking.
Let me try answering it again, and you tell me if it sounds weak. Online education is growing, so I should build another learning platform.
That's a trend, not a secret. A secret would be discovering something specific others haven't noticed, maybe a hidden learning behavior, an underserved group, or a completely new teaching method. Secrets are precise, trends are broad.
So finding a secret requires observation, not just analysis.
Yes, observation, curiosity, and independence of thought. You must be willing to question what everyone else takes for granted.
Are secrets always technological?
No, but technological secrets tend to create the biggest transformations because they enable entirely new possibilities. Technology changes what humans can do. That's why it's so powerful.
But when people hear technology, they often imagine computers or software. Is that too narrow?
Very narrow. Technology is any new and better way of doing something. It could be engineering, medicine, energy, materials, agriculture, anything that fundamentally improves capability.
So technology isn't just gadgets, it's progress itself.
Yes, and when a company builds real technology, it can create long-term advantage because it offers something others cannot easily replicate.
This connects to something else you talk about, the difference between incremental change and breakthrough change.
Right. Incremental change improves the existing system. Breakthrough change creates a new system. Breakthroughs often look strange or unnecessary at first because people evaluate them using old assumptions.
So early skepticism is normal.
More than normal, expected. If everyone immediately agrees your idea is great, it probably isn't new enough.
That's uncomfortable advice.
Innovation is uncomfortable by nature.
Let's talk about timing. Even if you discover a secret, how do you know when the world is ready for it?
Timing is critical. A great idea too early can fail. A good idea at the right moment can succeed massively. But timing is not luck alone. It depends on recognizing patterns, technological readiness, market behavior, cultural shifts.
So founders must study the present deeply to understand the future.
Exactly. The future grows out of the present, but not evenly. Some areas change quickly, others remain stagnant for decades. The best opportunities exist where rapid change meets overlooked potential.
Another idea that surprised me, you suggest asking not only what will change, but also what will stay the same. Why is that important?
Because stable human needs create predictable demand. People will always want faster communication, more comfort, better health, security, connection, efficiency. If you build something that serves a timeless need in a new way, it has strong foundations.
So the best innovations combine two things: something new, serving something timeless.
Exactly.
Let's talk about risk. Searching for secrets, building new technology, challenging assumptions, it all sounds uncertain. Why should anyone choose such a difficult path?
Because copying existing models is crowded and fragile. Original creation is difficult, but it offers the possibility of extraordinary impact and long-term value. You can either compete endlessly or create something that changes the game entirely.
There's something almost philosophical here. It feels like you're saying progress depends on curiosity and courage.
That's a good way to put it. Curiosity discovers secrets. Courage acts on them.
Before we close part 3, let me ask something personal again. Do you think most people ignore secrets because they can't see them, or because they're afraid to pursue them?
Usually both. Seeing differently is hard. Acting differently is harder. But history shows that the future belongs to those who do both.
That's powerful. So in this part, we learned opportunities hide in secrets. Technology creates real transformation. Breakthrough ideas often feel strange at first. Timing and observation matter. And progress requires both curiosity and courage. Well said. In our final part, we'll talk about something every founder and every thinker cares about. What does the future actually look like, and how can individuals position themselves to shape it? Peter, ready for the final chapter? Let's do it! Welcome to the final part of our deep dive. We've talked about creating something new, building startups with intention, and discovering hidden opportunities. Now, I want to zoom out and ask the biggest question of all. What does the future actually look like? Peter, when you think about the future, what do you see?
I see possibility, but not certainty. The future isn't a single destination waiting for us. It's a range of outcomes shaped by what people choose to build or choose not to build. Progress is not guaranteed.
That's interesting, because many people assume progress is automatic. Technology improves every year, so the future must always get better.
That assumption is dangerous. Civilizations don't move forward by default. They move forward when people deliberately solve hard problems. If we stop creating, progress slows. If we stop imagining, progress stops entirely.
So the future depends on human intention.
Yes, and on courage. Many of the biggest challenges humanity faces, energy, disease, environmental stability, long-term sustainability, require breakthroughs, not small improvements. Incremental thinking cannot solve exponential problems.
That sounds like a call for ambition.
Exactly. But modern culture often discourages ambition. It encourages safety, diversification, and avoiding risk. Those ideas protect individuals in the short term, but they rarely produce transformative progress.
So to build the future, we need people willing to take concentrated risks.
Yes, focused effort creates breakthroughs. Scattered effort creates noise. This applies not only to startups, but to personal life as well.
Personal life?
Think about careers. Many people are taught to keep options open, move cautiously, and follow established paths. But meaningful achievement often requires commitment, choosing a direction and going deep. The same principle that builds great companies builds meaningful lives.
That's powerful. Building the future isn't just about technology, it's about mindset.
Absolutely. People who create the future share certain traits. They believe improvement is possible. They believe their actions matter. And they believe the world is still full of undiscovered potential.
There's something else I noticed in your philosophy. You don't just talk about business success, you talk about human progress.
Because business is one of the most effective tools for turning ideas into reality. When a company succeeds, it doesn't just generate profit, it changes how people live, work, communicate, and interact. That's real-world impact.
So innovation is a form of influence.
Yes, influence over the structure of the future.
Let's talk about long-term thinking. Many companies focus on short-term results, quarterly growth, fast returns, quick wins, but you emphasize long-term vision. Why is long-term thinking so rare?
Because it requires patience and confidence. Short-term thinking feels safer. You see results quickly, you can adjust constantly. But long-term thinking requires believing in something that may take years, even decades to fully develop. Few people are comfortable with that uncertainty.
But the biggest transformations take time.
Always. The most important progress often looks slow in the beginning, then suddenly becomes unstoppable.
Let me ask something that listeners might be wondering. What if someone isn't building a startup? What if they're not an entrepreneur? Can the ideas of going from 0 to 1 still apply to them?
Definitely. 0 to 1 is not just about companies, it's about creation in any form. Writing something original, developing a new skill, solving a problem no one else has solved, seeing reality differently. Anytime you create something that didn't exist before, you move from 0 to 1.
So innovation is a universal human ability.
Yes, but it must be exercised intentionally. People consume the world as it is. A few people reshape it.
Let's bring everything together. If someone listening right now wants to truly understand the message of this book, what is the single most important idea they should remember?
That the future is not predetermined. It is built by individuals who choose to think independently, act decisively, and create courageously. The world still contains unsolved problems, hidden opportunities, undiscovered truths, and someone will find them. The only question is, who?
That feels like both an invitation and a responsibility.
It is.
Before we close, I want to reflect on the journey we've taken through this conversation. We learned that progress means creating, not copying, that startups build the future through vision and structure, that secrets hide the greatest opportunities, and that human ambition shapes what comes next. This isn't just a business philosophy, it's a way of seeing the world.
Exactly. A lens for understanding possibility.
Peter, thank you for this conversation. It's been deep, practical, and honestly, inspiring.
Thank you, James. These ideas matter because the future is still open.
And to everyone listening, thank you for being with us through this entire journey. We explored big ideas, bold thinking, and powerful insights. But remember, no discussion, no summary, no podcast can fully replace the experience of reading the original work yourself. If you truly want to understand these ideas at a deeper level, take the time to read the book, think about it, question it, apply it, because knowledge becomes valuable only when it changes how you see the world. Until next time, stay curious, think independently, and never be afraid to create something new. I'm James, and this has been our podcast. Take care, and see you in the next episode.